Good evening. Welcome to New Tracks. My name is Jim Kello, and I'm your host for this evening. New Tracks is where mentors help modelers build. Our goal is to encourage model building and help modelers like you develop the modeling skills, techniques, and most importantly, the confidence every one of us needs to build the models we really want. We want you to experience the thrill of saying, I built that. On each New Track show, the best model railroaders demonstrate innovative new products, modeling techniques, new technology, and answer your modeling questions. New Tracks is a great opportunity to have talented modelers become your mentors. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. We hope all of you come back often and tell your friends to join us. We currently have over 1,000 subscribers on either our website or our YouTube channel. We hope that you'll become a subscriber. And on YouTube, all you have to do is go to our channel, New Tracks Modeling, and click on the subscribe button, ring the bell, and check all. You'll receive all the notices for the future shows and the login links. We currently have over 300 YouTube videos that you're also able to see a lot of the past shows. On Zoom, you can watch, ask questions, speak to other modelers, show your modeling live, and participate in the lively after show. To join on Zoom, all you have to do is go to our website, newtracksmodeling.com, check subscribe. You'll get an email from the website. You'll confirm the email, then you're officially subscribed and you'll get all of the future notices. Please feel free to share the login links that you receive either on Zoom or YouTube with your friends and encourage them to join us and participate in our shows. Finally, if you want to be a guest presenter and show your models and techniques, we have several ways that you can do that. Send me an email to jimkello@newtracksmodeling.com and let's discuss. I really prefer the telephone for something like this. And if you'll send me your telephone number in that email, I'll give you a call back. Or if you'd like to donate a little bit of your time and volunteer to help us with our events, or our YouTube video productions, or the website, or just to give us ideas for future shows, please send me an email about this to the same address. Well, thanks so much for being here tonight. Now let's get on with tonight's show. Well, good evening. Happy New Year. I hope it's a great 2022 for everybody. I have some very sad news to start the show with tonight. One of the people that I considered a friend, Stan Cedarleaf, unexpectedly died New Year's Eve. It was very sudden, I understand, and nobody knew that it was going to happen. Stan was one of the most creative people that I know, and I will miss him and miss the products that he provided to our hobby. It's why these shows are being done and why I'm committed to them as I am. It's why I write the articles in the magazines that I've been writing for 4 years. Because those of us that are getting up in age aren't going to be here very much longer. And when we pass, the creativity, if any, that we have, and the skills, if any, that we have, won't be there anymore unless we can find a way to try to pass them on to younger people who will take what we know, hopefully, and modify it, change it, improve it, and continue the hobby in the great way that it's been up to this point. I'm so sorry to hear about Stan, and if we could have just a moment of silence, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Well, let me start the show with some more announcements right now. First, I want to talk about the build-alongs that are coming up as usual. February the 9th, Paul Reeves, who owns Kershaw Models, is teaming up with Martin Breck Build MMR to build Stanley Spar in O-scale. On February the 22nd, we are starting shows on Saturday again at noon, 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Chris Blackmar's workshops are going to be all about scratch building. If you've ever wondered about it, if you've ever wanted to try it, this is your opportunity. You'll hear from a great scratch builder, a very creative person. And I hope that a lot of you will be interested and want to attend and hear what Chris is going to be talking about and try scratch building. If you've never tried it before, I think it's one of the most creative parts of our hobby. And if you'll try it, I think you'll really enjoy it. February the 23rd, the next day that we're on the show, Bruce Nicholson, owner of Seaport Model Works, is going to start building his kit of a waterline 53-foot coastal steam passenger vessel. Carried both passengers and freight on the Great Lakes, West Coast, East Coast, so it fits almost anybody's modeling. And this is a different one for us because we haven't had a boat manufacturer in to do a meetup before. March the 30th, Rick and Marie Hunter are back. They're going to build a 50-foot queen post covered bridge this time. It's available in all the scales. There's a great discount of it. And I hope you'll be interested in seeing Rick and Marie again. April the 6th, David Vaughn, owner of Wit and Wisdom Models, is going to start a build along with one of John Armstrong's inspired kits. And I think that's going to be something that you're going to want to really enjoy. May the 25th, Chris Corse is going to be who is the owner of Conowingo Models, is building one of his new kits. The kit is called the Kello Trolley Station. Thank you, Chris, for naming it after you too. And I think that's going to be an interesting build for everybody. June the 1st, Bill Banner, owner of Banner Model Works, is going to start a build along of one of his OM30 caboose kits. This is the first OM30 build along that we've had, and I'm really looking forward to this one. July 13th, Paul Egret and John Thomas Reynolds are getting together, and they're going to build a card model that Paul is designing as of June the 15th of this year. It will be posted on our website. There will be a scale card also posted there where you can download it to whatever scale you model. And you can build this in any scale that you want to build in. It's free to download. If you don't like the graphics that you see on it, if you'll contact Paul, he'll change the graphics to what fits your needs, and he'll do it at no cost for you. So here's an opportunity. The only cost that you'll have is the printer cost to print it out on a piece of cardboard and some white glue and a ruler and a knife to cut out the pieces and glue them together. And this can be something that if you've never tried card building before, I hope you'll give a hard look at, because I really think that it could be a lot of fun for you and save you a lot of money to provide buildings for your model railroad. Then coming up, we've got Jim King, who's Smoky Mountains Model Works. He's going to build one of his OM30 models in a build along. And that'll probably be in late August, September, somewhere in that time frame. And we've got others that we're talking about. One of them that I'm very excited about is going to be done by Earl Hackett, and it's a CAD build along. The CAD program that Earl will be using will be free to use by anybody. And Earl will start from square one. Keep it simple. And this will be something that even I am told will be able to do. By the end of the show, I should be able to design the model in the CAD program. I should be able to get it to a point where I can have it printed out. And then I should be able to follow Earl in building the model. And the model that Earl is thinking about designing and building is a girder bridge. And so I hope that you'll pay attention to that. It'll probably start sometime in August, and it'll run probably for 6 weeks. I think that it's something that's unusual, and we've never tried to do anything like this in this detail before. But I think based on the number of comments that I hear about 3D printing and the future of it for modeling, I think this is something that's going to appeal to an awful lot of you. Next, if you've got a modeling question, we've got a form on our website. If you'll fill out the form and ask your question, I'll try to get you an answer either on the show, or I'll have somebody email you and answer your question for you. The next My Build is coming up January the 19th. And we have something special to announce for that, because we have a sponsor for the My Builds from now on. Dan Darty's company, which name is, hold on a minute. Model Railroad Resource LLC publishes both of the magazines that I write for, O-Scale Resource and S-Scale Resource. And Dan is going to sponsor the My Builds from now on. And therefore, what that means is, in his magazine, as well as on our website, and as well as on the Zoom, anybody that shows a model in the My Build will have his model, his caption information about what the model is all about, and his name published in the next issue of Dan's magazine. So I hope that this is going to encourage more people to want to participate. I was extremely pleased that we had 10 people participate last week, and I'm hoping that we can double that number for January 19th. So if you're interested, now is the right time to start figuring out what model you want to show. And I really do appreciate Dan wanting to participate with us and to help us in this way sponsor the My Build. It fits in perfectly with the kind of philosophy that both of his magazines have, which is to bring modeling back to model railroading. And that's what the shows are all about. That's what my articles are all about. And that's particularly what the My Build that we do is all about. So thank you so much, Dan. And I hope that everybody is pleased to hear this. As I say, the next My Build is January is the 19th. And it's time for you to start working on the model or figuring what you want to show. Because if you built it, I hope that you'll share it with us. That's what this is all about. Now I'd like to turn into Paul Thompson for the quick tip of the evening. Paul?
Thank you, Jim. Now, if I can just get my screen share up, we'll be away. Okay. I just thought that I would point out something that's very useful to have around your toolkit or whatever else. And what you're looking at is actually available at the likes of Home Depot and your automotive store, etc. This is actually fuel line for a lawnmower. And if I can find there's a close-up of it. There's two basic sizes sitting here. And one of the uses that I've found with this thing is every now and then I've got a problem with insulating washers, et cetera, with KD washers, et cetera, not being thick enough. And this stuff can actually be cut, and there's other sizes that you can get. And if you like, you can get it in black as well as clear. And you can make thicker washers that sometimes will get you out of a jam for couplers, trucks, whatever. And this stuff is flexible to begin with and dries out a little and stays hard, but it is insulating. And there are some other uses for this thing, such as this is just rammed on the end of my tool here. And it basically, it allows me to put it in its box and it doesn't rattle around. So when I take it on my toolkit, nothing sharp happens to get cut or whatever. And at the same time, you can make guards out of it for stuff that's sitting in your toolkit. And it helps prevent damage to your tools, and it helps prevent damage to you when you reach in. And it's just one of those handy little items that you might like to have around, and it's dirt cheap. I think I bought both those pieces for under $1.50. And that's my tip for the night, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. I particularly like the price. Fits in my budget very well. Well, now I'd like to turn to the meat of the show. And I'd like to introduce first Clark Cooney. Clark is building a Banta model. And Clark, I will turn it over to you, sir.
All right. So this is part number 4 of the Banta warehouse kit. So just a little reminder, the warehouse kit, this one is built in HO, but it's available through Bill and Banta Model Works in HOSO and G and F if you are so inclined. Again, it's a slightly different kit from a normal laser kit. It's cut with a plywood or MDF base, and then you overlay pieces of individual board over the basic frame to give you your model. So in our last session, we left the modeler with a drafty building. So let's look at the windows in our kit. So the windows are made out of laser board, and they come in a package, as all of Bill's stuff is nicely packaged and separated. So these aren't wood, and so you got to give a little bit of thinking as to how you're going to stain them or paint them. I tried something. Usually I would just paint these, but I wanted it to really match the sort of the presence of the peeled paint that I was going for on the model. So I, again, like the building, I did a stain of the Hunter driftwood and just painted it right over and left them aside. So, and I have no idea why this is there. That's interesting. And then I added a little bit of the craft paint that I've been using. In this case, it's the mossy green. And again, I just dabbed it on with a sponge to give me that little bit of color that I was looking for. Now, one of the things you have to do, because if you remember, we've glued those individual boards over that laser MDF. And then if we overlapped the individual boards, we had to cut them out. Now, if they're not quite cut out properly, you want to make sure you dry fit all this stuff so it fits right in there. Should fit snug, but it should also fit without any pushing or pressure. So if it doesn't quite fit when you dry fit it, make sure that you sand it a little bit and get it to fit so that you're not pushing the pieces into the openings. Okay, and in this little, it's not really a window, it's a vent. It comes in 2 pieces. And basically I use what I call a sticker. It's a very sharp pointed tool that I got from one of the many tool people that sell tools. And it is just a very fine needle point. And I don't have to use tweezers. I just stab it with the point. Even a real good needle, you can make your own, will work, and you can put it over the vent so that the frame is now covering the edge of the vent. Now, I put on a little bit of white glue, and then I position it into the window or the opening, and then I don't let it dry before I do this, because then I can adjust both pieces if I need to make sure that it's nice and square to the building and it looks right. Because a lot of guys will just glue that frame up, let it harden, and then try and stick it in. Well, then you can't maneuver it, and it can be cockeyed, and you don't want that. So you want to be able to stick it in and be able to move it around a bit. All right, and so again, I use the Hunter stains to do some of the trim, the door pieces, and according the loading dock pieces. Now, nice thing about Bill's kit is that if you can see up in that left-hand corner, he's actually etched in what all those parts are for, and you can see them quite clearly. And again, I've just taken that driftwood stain, stained all the pieces, and then I know exactly where I'm going. Now I used a chopper to cut the posts. You get a bag of posts for the railings and the pilings for the porch or the loading dock support. And he also gives this really cool cardboard fixture. And so what you do, you cut the pieces of the square posts and drop them into the openings. And if they don't quite fit right, sand them off a little bit. And remember, with a chopper, it always seems, especially as the thicker wood you get, it tends to bevel the piece and it doesn't cut it square. You could actually use, even with this is like 6x6, even if you do you could use a razor saw to cut this, and then you get a much nicer square cut and probably less sanding. But use a little sanding stick, get them to fit, and they'll just drop in those slots in this cardboard fixture. Once you have those in, then you can put the railing on, and that's all out of that previous shot where Bill outlined what pieces to use. Now, this is where it's going to go. If you look on the left-hand side, it's going to go underneath that front deck. Now, I didn't glue it on. I just made sure it was the right length and it was going to fit. And of course it does. That's the beauty of laser work. But I left it off, and I'm going to set it aside for now. And the reason is I got a lot of handling of the building, and it's kind of a delicate piece, and I don't want to bugger it up. And that's a technical term, buggering it up. So you can just set it aside for now. Now, the freight doors again are just individual boards. Basically, the freight doors in the kit will be these two MDF squares, or actually they're rectangles, and you just take your individual boards and again glue them onto the MDF, and then of course trim off all the excess. Now I like to have a little bit of overhang. I usually don't go right to the edge. On the one on the left, I've already trimmed the bottom off, but I always go a little overhang on all the way around, because it's much easier to trim and get it nice and perfect than leaving a gap or whatever by trying to fit it exactly. Now, in the first picture, you'll see the freight door actually fits on the outside, but I'm just showing you by having it sit on the deck, you'll notice it's just shy of the opening. And when you put it on the inside where it's really supposed to sit, you'll notice there's quite a gap at the bottom. Well, you need that gap because we have to put in the decking for that loading dock yet. So again, you're going to take that freight door and just put it aside. And we're going to make sure that we get the decking in. And it will go underneath that door, and then you can be able to position that door. Well, you could have it open, you could have it closed, whatever you'd like. Now, for the next week, we have to do a little planning. Due to the fact I don't want to handle the model, or we're handling the model quite a bit. I've again haven't put the under support of the decking in because I want to lay off for that till I get the whole deck in. So we're going to do that. And the same thing with the windows and the doors. The problem being is I have to, on that first, on the loading dock side, I have to get in all the decking in order for where the windows are going to, or not the windows, but the doors are going to sit properly. And I'm going to be pushing and handling them to get that decking down. So I'm going to wait till I get that done next week. So join us for next week's clinic in Back to the Future of Windows and Doors. And answer these more questions next week. Same Zoom channel, same Zoom time. I hope you'll join us then.